What if I told you that the financial advice you've been following about student loans could be costing you hundreds of thousands of dollars over your lifetime? And what if the solution isn't what your parents, your professors, or even your financial advisor told you? My name is Alex, and 3 years ago, I was drowning in $87,000 of student debt while watching my friends who started investing early pull ahead financially. I made every mistake you could possibly make. I followed the conventional wisdom. I aggressively paid down my loans while completely ignoring investment opportunities, and it nearly derailed my entire financial future. But then I discovered something that changed everything, a mathematical approach that most people completely miss. Today, I'm going to walk you through the exact step-by-step system that helped me not only eliminate my debt strategically, but also build a six-figure investment portfolio simultaneously. And by the end of this video, you'll know exactly how to make the smartest financial decisions for your unique situation. Here's the thing that nobody talks about. The student loan versus investment decision isn't actually about choosing one or the other. It's about understanding the mathematics behind opportunity cost and leveraging time to your advantage. Most people approach this completely backwards. Let me start with a story that'll probably sound familiar. Sarah graduated with $45,000 in student loans at 6% interest. Her monthly payment was about $500. Everyone told her to pay extra toward the principal to get out of debt faster, so she threw every spare dollar at those loans. 2 years later, she was debt-free and felt amazing. Meanwhile, her roommate Jessica took a different approach. She made the minimum payments on her identical loan and invested the extra money in a diversified portfolio. 5 years later, Sarah had been debt-free for 3 years, but had almost nothing saved for retirement. Jessica still had some student debt remaining, but her investment account had grown to over $30,000. Who made the better choice? The answer might surprise you, and it comes down to understanding one crucial concept that changes everything. The magic number you need to know is your loan interest rate. This becomes your baseline for every financial decision you make. If your student loans are charging you 6% annually, that 6% becomes your hurdle rate. Any investment opportunity that can reliably beat 6% after taxes makes mathematical sense over accelerated loan payments. But here's where it gets interesting. Most federal student loans right now are sitting between 3 and 7%. Meanwhile, the historical average return of the stock market over the past century is around 10% annually. That 3 to 4% difference might not sound like much, but compounded over decades, it becomes life-changing money. Let me show you the actual numbers. Imagine you have an extra $500 each month. You can either put it toward your loans or invest it. If you use it to pay down a 6% loan, you're essentially earning a guaranteed 6% return by avoiding that interest. But if you invest that same money and earn even 8% annually, you're 2 percentage points ahead every single year. Over 20 years, that 2% difference on $500 monthly adds up to over $60,000 in additional wealth. That's the power of opportunity cost, and it's why understanding these numbers is absolutely critical. Now, before you rush off to invest everything and ignore your loans completely, we need to talk about the psychological factor that most financial advisors completely ignore. Debt creates stress, real, measurable, life-affecting stress. And for some people, the peace of mind that comes from being debt-free is worth more than the potential mathematical gains from investing. This is where your personal risk tolerance comes into play. Are you the type of person who can sleep soundly at night knowing you have debt but also a growing investment portfolio? Or do you lie awake worrying about what you owe? There's no wrong answer here, but you need to be honest with yourself. Here's my framework for making this decision systematically. I call it the three-factor analysis, and it considers mathematics, psychology, and timing together. Factor 1 is pure mathematics. Calculate your after-tax loan interest rate and compare it to your expected investment returns. If your loans are below 5% and you're young with decades to invest, the math usually favors investing. If your loans are above 8%, paying them down first almost always makes more sense. Factor 2 is your stress tolerance. Rate your debt-related anxiety on a scale of 1 to 10. If you're above a 7, prioritize debt elimination regardless of the math. Your mental health and ability to function effectively is worth more than optimizing returns. Factor 3 is your financial stability. Do you have an emergency fund? Is your job secure? Are you maximizing any employer retirement matching? These foundational elements need to be solid before you can safely carry debt while investing. Now let's walk through the actual step-by-step process. Step 1 is to list all your loans with their interest rates, minimum payments, and remaining balances. Not all student loans are created equal. You might have some at 3% and others at 7%. This matters enormously for your strategy. Step 2 is to secure your financial foundation. Build a small emergency fund of at least $1,000 before doing anything else. This prevents you from going deeper into debt if something unexpected happens. Then, if your employer offers retirement matching, contribute enough to get the full match. This is free money that beats any loan interest rate. Step 3 is where the real decision-making happens. For any loans above 7%, focus on paying these down aggressively. The guaranteed return from eliminating high-interest debt is usually better than risking money in investments. For loans between 4 and 7%, this is where your personal situation and risk tolerance matter most. You can defensively choose either strategy. Consider splitting the difference by making slightly accelerated payments while also beginning to invest. For loans below 4%, especially if they're federal loans with beneficial terms, minimum payments usually make the most sense while you focus on building your investment portfolio. Step 4 involves tax optimization. Student loan interest is tax-deductible up to certain income limits, which effectively reduces your actual cost of borrowing. Meanwhile, if you're investing in tax-advantaged accounts like a Roth IRA, you're maximizing your after-tax returns. Here's an advanced strategy that most people miss completely. Income-driven repayment plans on federal loans can actually work in your favor if you're pursuing loan forgiveness programs. If you qualify for public service loan forgiveness, aggressive payments might be throwing money away that could be invested instead. Let me share exactly what I did with my $87,000 in loans. I had a mix of rates from 4 to 8%. I aggressively paid down anything above 6% while making minimum payments on the lower rate loans. Simultaneously, I maxed out my Roth IRA and began building a taxable investment account. The psychological game changer for me was automation. I set up automatic payments for both my loans and investments. This removed the monthly temptation to change course based on emotions or market conditions. Consistency beats perfection every single time. 3 years later, I had eliminated the high-interest debt, built a substantial investment portfolio, and still had some low-interest student debt remaining. But here's the key insight. My net worth was significantly higher than it would have been if I had focused solely on debt elimination. Your situation might be different, and that's perfectly okay. The goal isn't to follow my exact strategy, but to understand the principles and apply them to your unique circumstances. One crucial mistake to avoid is lifestyle inflation. As your income grows, resist the urge to increase your spending proportionally. Instead, direct those additional dollars toward whichever strategy you've chosen, whether that's accelerated debt payments or increased investments. Another common error is paralysis by analysis. Spending months researching the perfect strategy while taking no action costs you more than making a reasonably good decision and starting immediately. Time in the market and time paying down debt both compound in your favor. Here's what I want you to do right now. Pause this video and calculate your exact numbers. What are your loan interest rates? What's your monthly payment capacity beyond minimums? What's your current investment account balance? Write these numbers down because you can't make optimal decisions without clear data. The financial decisions you make in your 20s and 30s have exponentially more impact than those you make later in life. That's the power of compound growth working for decades. Whether you're paying down debt or building investments, starting today instead of next year could mean tens of thousands of additional dollars by retirement. Remember, there's no universally correct answer to the student loan versus investment question, but there is a correct answer for your specific situation based on your numbers, your psychology, and your goals. Use the framework I've outlined to find your path forward. The wealthy don't stay wealthy by following conventional wisdom. They stay wealthy by understanding mathematics, managing risk intelligently, and taking action consistently over long periods. You now have the tools to make these decisions like they do. If this video helped clarify your thinking about student loans and investments, hit that like button and subscribe for more content about building wealth strategically. Drop a comment below with your specific situation, and I'll try to provide personalized guidance. Next week, I'm breaking down the exact investment strategies that work best when you're also carrying debt. You won't want to miss it.